Okay, you're live.
Okay. Yeah, my mouse is really weird. Hello, 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 hello. Hi, hi. So we're doing something different tonight. Friday night. It's Friday. And if anybody texts me, I won't know. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, the truth. Hey, Keith. I got two different social medias on, so if I don't say your name, give me a minute. I'll make sure that I will. You sent me some bubble gum. Thank you. Thank you. Um, I feel a little nervous. Hey, Miss Gina, how y'all doing? We're going to. So yeah, we're going. This is going to be a different live for us. Um, for me in particular. You hear Ralph? Yes, because he had to set up everything. The truth, he had to set up everything for me because I can't do but so much when it comes to computers and stuff like that. I'm not that tech savvy at all, at all, at all. So that part. But I wanted to do something different tonight. So I do have YouTube up, and I'm also on TikTok. We're doing live on both social media platforms tonight because I believe that this is something that needs to be talked about and discussed, and um, just have a open panel. If there's no panel, because I'm the only one here. But I believe in the future we would like to have more people on and discuss these types of things that are relatable um, to me, to Ralph, to you as well. Um, so the subject tonight is basically infertility. It is about something that has I don't want to say tortured me, but something that I have had to deal with and that Ralph has had to deal with. Um, thank you. Um, that we both had to deal with because he's seen me in pain, and I know it's difficult for him to be in a situation where I'm in pain and he can't help me. So, um, yeah, so it's something that we both had to deal with. So it's um, uterine fibroids and endometriosis and block tubes, PCOS, primary, secondary infertility, unexplained, explained infertility, all those things. We're going to talk about IVF, we're going to talk about IUI, we're going to talk about having the faith to endure all those things when you're trying to conceive a child. Um, so I feel like this is the perfect opportunity for us to just talk about it. If you can hear me, if you can hear me well enough, just put a one in the chat. Um, I believe you can because I see a lot of likes going on. I do appreciate it. Thank you for the one, Deuce's dad. Hi, Deuce's dad. If you hear me on YouTube, put a one in the chat. Let me know. Thank you, Gina. I appreciate you. Um, so yeah, so we're gonna get into it. We want to do something different, right? So um, I'm not drinking alcohol. This is a non-alcoholic beverage. Okay. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Celeste. Hi, ladies. So this is non-alcoholic. Okay. So you can't check me if you wanted to. And isn't this the cutest little? It's so cute. It's so cute. But I just wanted to just pour a little something, something, just to wet my palate. That's a lot. But this is strawberry flavored bubbly. It's let me see what it is. Sparkling strawberry elderflower. It's actually pretty good. It's from Cooper's Hawk. So Celeste, if we ever decide to go out, we can do that. Um so yeah. So hi Coco, if you're still on. Hi, I appreciate you. Um so let's just dive into it. So just a little history if you do not know. Ralph and I have been married since 2000. Okay, and so it is 2026 right now. Okay, um, and I would say the first 2 years that we were married, we took precautions. We were not trying to get pregnant. But I believe it was year three where we didn't care. So we was like, if we get pregnant, we get pregnant. And so 3 years or 3 or 4 years into our marriage, things happened where we were not together. Um, Ralph got out of the military and came here to Michigan. I stayed in 1 extra year in New Mexico, and then I joined him here in Michigan. Um, and while I active duty Air Force, hoorah, active duty Air Force, and we both decided to get out, and so we stayed here in Michigan, and that's where we've been for I don't know how since what 2005 I got out. So we've been here, and in 2005 I think we actively started pursuing um, trying to find out what was going on with either of us as far as why we have not conceived yet. So we're like 5 or 6 years into our marriage and still no baby, and we were not taking any precautions. And you all know when you first get married, it's just you're humping all the time, just humping. Okay, but so hey Fonda, so we went to one doctor and we had to do a whole lot of tests, of course, because they have to do a blood work, workup, whatever you want to call it. They have to do all those things to find out what's going on with your body or his, and or his. So Ralph had to get the swimmers checked. He was fine. I had to go through several tests. Actually, let me back up because when I was in the military, I had a cyst on my ovaries, and it was causing severe pain. And because of that, I had to have surgery while I was in the military. And while I was there, coming out of anesthesia, my doctor was standing over me and was asking me, have I had any pelvic or abdominal surgery before? And I said, no. And she was like, you have a lot of scar tissue. Well, at the time, it didn't click or ding in my head. No light bulb went off or anything like that. When she meant by scar tissue was actually endometriosis. Um, and endometriosis is basically when you have the same, I want to say material, the same uterine. It's like the uterine lining, basically, and it forms outside of the uterus, basically, and it can attach to anything in your body, all your organs, basically, just grow. Today's word is basically you can just it does its thing, and it goes crazy, and it causes pain in the most annoying way ever. Um, and so we didn't know. I wasn't having any pain. I didn't have any signs of endometriosis. It was just that she wanted to bring that to my attention. And she asked me if I had any abdominal surgeries. And I was like, no, I have not. So it was just something that we were both like, okay, so we need to, um, just think about this later. Because we didn't think that it was going to be any issues. The cyst was gone. That's all we cared about because that caused me more pain. Going down the road, we've tried Clomid, which is um, it is a hormone. It's basically like to jumpstart your ovaries to get you ovulating. We did that. We did several trials of Clomid, and I will say that the worst thing about Clomid is those daggone heat, those hot sweat, hot flashes, or what a night sweats. Jesus of Nazareth, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it. It was like the worst thing ever. Um, but on top of that, on top of the hot flashes and the night sweats and everything from this particular medicine, um, I was ovulating. She just wanted me to ovulate just a little bit more because of my age. At that time, I was like mid 30s. Okay, or yeah, mid 30s. And so, because it put my ovaries into hyperdrive, basically they were more hyperactive. Um, it was causing more pain. So she took me off of that. So night sweats are terrible. They are. So um, she took me off of the medication, and she was like, she just wanted me to monitor. So basically I went through the whole basal temperature taking in the morning before your feet hits the floor, um, to make sure that I was ovulating. I did all those things, and I had to have a calendar and a chart, you know, literally like old school, to draft and to monitor my temperature and to make sure that I was ovulating when I'm supposed to ovulate. I've never had an issue with ovulation, thank God. Never had an issue with ovulation. And if you know your body, then you know that, um, you pretty much, sometimes, you know, the older you get and the more you understand your body as a woman, then you will also know when you're actually ovulating, right? Because there's a certain tweak in your body, and you be like, okay, what's that? And you know that that is ovulation. It could be on your left or your right side because you have ovaries on either side, both sides, right? So you could ovulate from your left. It's supposed to basically, alternate, right? So your left ovaries on one month, and then the next month is supposed to be your right ovary. Some people don't do that, and I'm not too sure if I do that as well, because all the cramping that I experienced when ovulation was always on my left side. So fast forward a little bit. Um, so the Clomid didn't work, and then my doctor was like, "Well, you have quite a few fibroids. Let's get into that. Hashtag fibroids. Whew. Take a drink. This ain't even alcohol. Um, that is so good and refreshing. It's so good. It's so good. So, um, I'm gonna call her out, Dr. Hayes. I'm just gonna call her out because I keep saying she. Dr. Hayes decided that she wanted to, um, discuss having surgery and to remove the fibroids. At the time, I don't remember how many fibroids I had. Okay, so this was 2008. So I decided, okay, well, let's go ahead and do this, and she can clear up endometriosis. And then I'm gonna back up a little bit because I had to also do all of these tests to find out if my tubes were closed. And if you've ever had a HCG or HSG, it's the opposite. Whatever the hormone is that you find out when you're pregnant, it's the opposite. Okay, so if it's HSG that they're looking for, then it's HCG for the test. Okay, HCG. It's a long name. I'm just gonna abbreviate it for now. But what they do is they put dye in your tubes to see if it flows out, if it basically goes into the end of your tube, basically. So you're going to have dye in your body. Mine did not do that. The dye that entered in came out the same way he put it in. So, um, I say he, but the technician or whatever, but the doctor who had actually did it, because I've had that done multiple times, and very painful. Nobody told me that it was going to be that way. Nobody told me that it was going to be, a hard, uh, process. Basically, I'm sorry. I'm just getting distracted. It's too many. It's too much stuff going on. Anywho, um, Deuce's dad, if you're in the building, can you come down here and check this camera? So, um, I decided to go ahead and do this myomectomy, which was what it was called. It's a myomectomy, and the cut is like a bikini cut. Okay, it's like almost a C-section. And this was 2008. And so when, um, I had to get this done, get all these fibroids out, she cleared out my endometriosis at the time. And I might be panicking, but I just thought something popped up on the screen that wasn't supposed to be there. Is that normal? Oh, thank you. Because maybe I didn't notice it before. Okay, thanks. Um, hi, Haley Weird Wolf Games. Hi. Yes, Pam, I am live on YouTube as well. If you want to jump off of TikTok and join me over here, you can. Um, yeah. So I'm on YouTube as well, you guys, on my TikToks, on my TikTok. That's what I call it. So had the myomectomy. I don't recall how many fibroids she actually removed, but she cleared out the endometriosis. And in her report, she actually said that she cleared out my tubes. So we're going to fast forward because my tubes were not cleared out. So, Lonnie, Lonnie, we're talking about all things personal tonight. So, thank you for joining. If you want to stay on and support me, I appreciate it. Um, good, Haley. We are getting ready to just talk about some things. So I'm good, and I hope you are well. I hope you are well too. Um, so I come home. I'm focused. I'm thinking yes, because everybody has said to us when you have a myomectomy, when they get everything cleared out, you'll be able to have a baby in no time. That was 2008. Um, Fast forward to 2012, December 23rd, 2012. I woke up with severe pain, like severe pain. However, I had been in pain for probably like 2 weeks prior to that. Um, and I didn't know what was going on, so I told Ralph, prepare to be in the hospital for a while. And I know I heard the Lord say, yeah, you're going to be staying overnight. So I just told Ralph, I said, this is what you're going to pack for me when you have to come back. And I put everything, folded it outside. Thank you, Lonnie. Um, Thank you, Miss Gina. So I put everything outside of my dresser, like had it folded outside of my dresser so that he could just snatch it up and pack it and bring it back to the hospital or whatever. But we ended up going to the emergency room. I prayed to God which emergency room to go to, and he answered. He told me which one to go to specifically. Um, oh, well, happy birthday, Haley. Tell mom I said hi. Um, so I told Ralph, I was like, you know what? Something's going on in my stomach, and I don't know what's going on. Something's going on in my body, and I don't know what it is because that pain was so horrible. So we ended up having ectopic pregnancy. But my doctor, my OB at the time, told me that it was impossible for us to get pregnant on our own. And here we are with the ectopic pregnancy. And we miscarried. If you know anything about ectopic pregnancy, this is when the embryo gets stuck in the fallopian tubes and it does not travel to the uterus and, um, you know, nest in to the uterus. Um, it just didn't happen. And the baby grew to be 6 weeks and a few days old. Um, and so when I went in for the ultrasound, I saw the baby on the screen. I knew exactly what I was looking at, but I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. So going back to my room in the emergency room, I just told Ralph, I said, you know what, no matter what the doctors say, just know that, just tell me you're going to be okay. And I said, just say, repeat after me, you're going to be okay. And he was like, I'll be okay. So the doctor came in and he told us that, yes, we were pregnant, but the baby wasn't viable. So I had to go through another process of surgery, which is a DNC, when they go in and get the baby out, and make sure my tubes were okay. Yeah. So So from there, I wrote Nesting for One. Um, this is basically about what I just talked to you about. It's 60 pages, but it goes more in depth about how our faith was intertwined with believing in God for a baby and to just stay in the faith and just to believe that He would do exactly what He said He would do. We have been prophesied over so many times. that we were going to be conceiving multiple babies, all these things. And if you are familiar with prophecies, then you know that you just believe in the prophecy and you just move on with your life, right? Um, yes, we believed. We believed. And one word is true. One actually manifested because it was spoken over us that we would get pregnant before the year was out. That was the ectopic pregnancy. And it was December when we found out. So that prophecy actually came to pass. So I wrote the book. It was published in 2017, but I just want to dig in a little deeper. I want to dig in a little deeper. Um, the fact that I'm just gonna be real with y'all. Um, the fact that I have uterine fibroids, and I was always told that the fibroids that I had were just on top of my uterus, surrounding my uterus, and it does not stop me from getting pregnant. Um, Stage 4 endometriosis was so bad that in 2022, my OB went in to um, try to clear out some endometriosis, and she said that it was so bad that she had to refer me to a specialist. That was in 2022. Um, uh, so let me back up a little bit because in 2018 or 2017 and then 2018 and then 2019, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was two cycles in 2018. Me and Ralph had the privilege and honor to do IVF, and that is in vitro fertilization. So they take your eggs, well, they actually, monitor you, medicate you heavily on stuff to make sure that your eggs are mature, make sure that your body is reacting to the medicine the way it should. And it's basically trying to rush your body into um, getting to the point where you can conceive and the baby can implant. And it's basically just making all the hormones viable for the baby, giving it viability. So we're on these hormones. Ralph is poking me every night. That's probably not the correct term, but he's giving me injections every night um, for IVF. And as soon as your eggs are mature, um, they retrieve those eggs. And then Ralph has to go and have a party, and we get the little swimmers, and they put the egg and the swimmers together. ABC, 1, 2, 3, baby. um, so you have to wait a few days, weeks, just to make sure that the babies, that the embryos are, sorry, not embryos because they're not embryos yet, but making sure that the eggs are being fertilized. And if they are fertilizing, that they are growing. Okay? So once they get to the point where they're growing and they're successful in growing, I should say, then they implant those embryos inside your uterus. That is the process of IVF. I just basically just narrowed it down to all of that. But it takes a lot because they have to freeze all of this and then they have to unthaw the eggs. It's a process. Um, and I will stop here just to say this. If you know anyone that is trying to conceive, or if you are the one that is trying to conceive and you are 30 something, maybe you're not married, you haven't found that person, um, I would actually say to just go ahead and freeze your eggs. Freeze them. Um, I don't want to say it like this, but this is what it is. Pay the storage fee for the babies, for your eggs. And then, just in case you get older and your egg quality is not how it should be, okay? And we're going to get into that too. Um, then you have eggs that are already, here. And this was in your younger age. So these are good, solid eggs, right? So you can take those and you can start your family. But I do suggest, and I don't want to say I wish somebody would have told me that, but nobody knew to freeze your eggs. IVF wasn't as popular then as it is now. So, and we never really considered IVF. We never considered IUI or anything like that. IUI is just the opposite of IVF. IVF bypasses your tubes altogether. So in my case, I have endometriosis and I had fibroids, uterine fibroids, and both of my tubes were blocked. So the only other option that I did have if I was not successful in getting pregnant naturally is IVF. So, um, yeah, that part. So, I will say that the process was, it was different. Um, Gosh, it was different. Um, it was definitely different. I really can't put it into words. I do know that it's very expensive, um, to do IVF. It's expensive. It's not as expensive for IUI, but it's amazing how people in that profession feeds. I want to say it like that, but this is the way it's coming off. Feeds on those couples that are desperate to start a family. Um, and I think that that's that's sad. I think that's sad because if you've been trying as long as we've been trying and nothing's working, and all the doctors, when you get to a certain age, after a while, the doctors just keep telling you the same thing, that your eggs are not good because of your age. You need to do this, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. My faith is still strong. So it's just plenty of days where I had to actually go into the doctor's office and tell them the opposite of what they were telling me. Most of my doctors back then, they would say something like, no, you can't have a baby. It's not possible because of your age. Maybe you should consider donor eggs. Maybe you should consider adoption. Maybe you should consider surrogacy or anything other than what I was believing in. No, that's incorrect, Eric. I do appreciate that. You said it's not the people in the profession, it's the politicians and lack of universal health care. No, that is not the issue. What I was saying was, um, I've been to several doctors, and we're not going to do politics on this live. We're not going to do that. But I believe when I said that the doctors were feeding on that, is because there are certain things that you should do for a woman that is over 35. There are certain things that you should do for a woman that is over 25, that is 25 and younger, or 30 and younger, as far as workups, as far as different tests that they should have and they should perform prior to saying, okay, you're able to do either IUI or IVF. The money involved in IVF and IUI is ridiculous. It has nothing to do with politicians. It has nothing to do with the healthcare system. Because if that was the case, then all of your insurance companies would actually allow you to do IVF and IUI. And that is not a healthcare type situation. That is definitely just dealing with the IVF professions and the IUI. I know doctors that were willing and told me straight up, no, this is what you need to do because of your age. Or I'll take your money and then we'll go ahead and do an IUI, knowing that your tubes are closed and the IUI actually needs your tubes. So it's a different type of that's a different type of beast when it comes to um, people who are dealing with infertility. And the money involved in it is stupid. It's so stupid. It breaks my heart when I think about women like myself that want to get pregnant. No, it's okay. Eric, you're good. I appreciate it. Um, but it was so daunting to me. Um, I have several audible, right, exactly, Karen. Um, it I have so many different audible projects. One is called The Waiting Room, and it actually discussed, like, if you go and you Google my name and go into it. Oh, I guess I could do it right now. Do do do. Maybe I can find it. Oh no, I can't. But this is where you can find my book, though. There it is. Okay, so it's right there. You can find my book right there. Laugh often. .myshopify.com. Laugh often. My shop dot myshopify.com for our TikTok people, and all of the audibles. It's on Spotify. If you look at my name, Shamonda Dunton, Dunton. Did I spell it right? Dunton. Didn't sound like right. Sound right coming out of my mouth. But yes, you can look that up. I have a project called The Waiting Room, and it gives you a visual of how it is when you walk into the waiting room and you see all these women, all these couples that are trying to have a baby, and their faces are all the same because they have hope, but then there's a question mark here too. Um, all those women in there with broken hearts, just trying to make the dream happen, just trying to get pregnant, trying to have their body to do exactly what it was meant to do, to get pregnant, to nourish a baby, and to be able to labor and deliver a baby, and to be able to supply nutrients for that baby and breastfeeding afterwards, and all these things. This is a beautiful body that women have. Bye, Haley. Enjoy your pizza. Um, but it's a different beast when it comes to fertility and infertility. You too, baby. Um, it's it's just different. Um, it's so different. And I wanted to read a couple of things from my book, if y'all don't mind, because um, I just want to read just a couple of things, not just like I'm not going to read a whole chapter or anything like that, but I just want to read. I thought I highlighted it all, but I did not. It's very descriptive as far as this book is concerned. So, what did I say the test was? HSG. It's called SH. H. Hulu. Sierra Golf. HSG. That's what it is. I think I said HCG. HCG is the hormone that you find out when you're pregnant. So, not that part. But anyway, I want to read a little bit of this, and then I want to go back into 2018, which was a little different. So I want to talk about. Let me go. Da, 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 let me find. Oh, okay. So I want to give you a little visual of the story. Okay. So I'm gonna start here. Uh, I might have to read a little bit. So excuse me. Make sure my glasses can I see? Okay, so I am reminded of one day in May 2005 when Ralph and I were moving into our first condo. We were finally at the condo after leaving the apartment, and I started unpacking. Ralph was upstairs getting the beds together, and I was downstairs in the kitchen. I had completely unpacked the kitchen and came across the box with my writing that said figurines. I was excited to open this box so I could find places for my prize collections. One after another, I placed them around the house, some in the kitchen on top of the counter, some in the half bathroom, and some even in the man cave. I placed three of the black shear figurines, and if y'all know anything about black shear figurines, honey, they are the bomb diggity.com. Okay, listen. This was like in the early 2000s, 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, black shear figurines. I'm talking about this dude was on it. Amazing work. Amazing work. Um, okay, so I placed three of the black shear figurines on our sofa table, but I had not come across my faith figurine. I started to panic a little bit, so I went upstairs and checked the bedroom. It wasn't there, so I proceeded downstairs to the basement. It wasn't there either. Okay, I see it. I saw my aunt pack it, so I'm going to call her. I frantically picked up the phone and called her. Auntie, do you remember packing a large black angel? Auntie replied, yes, I put it in a box labeled figurines. I simply said, okay. I hung up the phone and went back upstairs looking at all the boxes. I didn't see another box with figurines. I ran back downstairs, my eyes filled with tears. I plopped down on the couch and cried. Okay? Where is my faith, Lord? This is what I'm crying just to look for a figurine. I cried and yelled and cried some more. Then, when I finished wiping all the snot from my nostrils, I looked in the corner of the living room. Right there in the corner was an unopened box labeled fragile. I laughed to myself as I approached the box with my knife. I pulled open the sides and then pulled the top off, and there was my faith stored securely in the box. Listen, 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 listen. And there was my faith stored securely in the box. Listen, that will preach. I wiped her off and gently placed her on my mantle. I smiled at her, thanked God, and then continued with my evening. I never thought that moving day would be significant in my walk with Christ. However, it truly has revealed things to me as I write this chapter. I used to look at those figurines as a statement of my faith. When people visited our home, I'd say, see my faith? Isn't she beautiful? But you can't touch her. She's delicate. So how solid is your faith when you go through a lingering life situation? Sorry. It is mind-boggling to me knowing this story actually represented my faith at one point. Since then, our faith has grown incredibly. And yes, the mustard seed was there then. Yet, what mountain were we casting into the sea? The sea was ready to swallow up our mountain. It was ready. It was ready. With that small mustard seed faith, you can cast mountains into the sea. Do you understand? Mustard seed faith, how small it is. And you can cast a mountain into the sea and let the sea swallow it up. Okay, so listen. The sea was ready to swallow up our mountain, but we were afraid to approach the coastline. So I read this and I read this earlier today, and I had to pause for a second because I almost started crying. And I didn't want to cry. I have cried so many tears over um, over us just trying to, hey Donald, um, just trying to have a baby. So in 2018, um, we went through our second round of IVF. And I'm not going to say that our faith was any different, but we felt that this was going to be the one. You know, we were determined. This right here, oh yeah, this is it. This is it. So we proceeded. We had to go through the whole thing, retrieval of the eggs, and then the transfer of the egg and the sperm, basically, the embryo into the uterus, and we just wait for it to implant. And so I have a girlfriend. She has 7 children. Shout out to Nika. And I asked her, because I mean, clearly she knows if the baby implants or not. She got 7 kids. So I asked her, I said, what does your body do when you have implantation? And so she told me what your body does and how your body reacts to implantation. And so I was curious because I was like, well, it didn't happen the first time. So evidently nothing implanted. And that was the reason why. And as soon as I asked that question, I believe it was the very next day, I had the symptoms and the signs of implantation. And so, thank you, Tyler. Um, so I'm looking and I'm like, okay, so I don't know what this substance is. You know, if you know, you know. Um, so I was like, okay. So I didn't question it. I was like, okay. And I didn't tell Ralph. I don't think I told Ralph, but I was like, oh my God, I think that was implantation. And then all of a sudden, I just got really, really congested immediately. Like it was like a week after we had been, the babies were babies, yeah, because we actually they put in um, two embryos, and It was like 2 weeks later. I was like, I am congested. I was like, what is going on? And now, so I didn't Google anything because I didn't want to know. But I did realize after the fact that congestion, mucus, buildup, and everything is a sign of pregnancy. Who knew? Who knew? But at the time, so I was like, okay, whatever. So 2018, um, we were getting ready. So it was confirmed we were pregnant. This was our second IVF attempt, and we were above the earth. You hear me? We were floating. Superman, Superman. I realize I'm not that funny without Ralph, but anywho, um, because at least he laughs. I can't hear y'all laughing, so I don't know if y'all thinking I'm corny or not. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to tell a story. So Um, so we go in, we hearing the heartbeat, and everything is nice and everything is good. I didn't have any symptoms. I wasn't nauseous. Was I? No, I wasn't nauseous, but I was tired. I was tired. I was tired as all get out. I remember I was at work. I worked in the warehouse at the time. I was at work and I told like two or three people, I said, I'm getting ready to go out to my car and I want to take a nap. I said, if I sleep, if you don't see me in 45 minutes, our break was 30. But if you don't see me in 45 minutes, y'all come knock on the door, knock on the window or whatever. I promise you, I think all three of them said, I came and knocked on your window and you didn't wake up. I was like, oh, I was knocked out. I had a Jeep at the time. I had my foot up on the dash and I bent my seat was all the way back, honey. I was gone. I was tired. I was That pregnancy did something to me as far as just pregnancy and just the energy level for that. However, we went in for another ultrasound, and this was supposed to be our graduation ultrasound from the IVF center. Okay, and and don't get me wrong, when I was talking about IVF people that don't do what they're supposed to do, they just want the money and they just like, yeah, 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 let me do this, let me fill you up with these hormones and that. There are some genuine people that really care about your future and you having a family. They really do care. Okay, so um, that didn't apply for everyone because we had some really good doctors. I have phenomenal doctors now that I'm like, I have a doctor now, and I was like, I don't care. You cannot retire. I need you to deliver these babies. And I'm not even pregnant yet. So, but we went in for the ultrasound, and we found out that there was no heartbeat. Um, the baby passed away in utero, and here I am walking around with this baby, and I was just in denial. Now, mind you, this is our second pregnancy and our second miscarriage, and I believe this is where I lost my mind completely. Um, I started to have panic attacks. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't concentrate. Everything just went. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, and I pray that none of you ever will. But when you have a panic attack, it's almost as if you're in a tunnel and you can't hear anything. So when I react to movies or series of people who are having a panic attack, I have to remember to breathe. And I'm just reacting to their acting on screen. But I have to remember to breathe because it is so relevant when you have a panic attack or when you're going through stress that you don't even know that you're not breathing until somebody says something to you. I had a friend, I mean, I still have a friend, she's one of my closest friends, where we were just walking around at the mall and she looked at me, she said, Shamonda, relax your shoulders. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I honestly looked at her, and honest to God, you guys, um, I relaxed and my shoulders went all the way down. And I didn't realize that my shoulders were sitting up like this, like I'm in a fighting stance, like I'm in defense mode, like I'm ready to take on the world. And you don't know what it does to your body when you are tense all the time. It does something to your muscles, it does something to your blood flow. So all of this, I'm saying this to say, don't be anxious about anything. And when you think about those things, when you think about everything that's pure, when you think about everything that is lovely, you think about all these things that are admirable, you think about all these things. You see how my shoulders just dropped? You got to think about things that will get you through the day, the minute, the hour, whatever it is that you're getting through. Do not allow your circumstances to make you feel like the world is on your shoulders when you have a man that has the world in his hand. He is a God, and he is the only true and living God. Um, so we miscarried, and when I say I lost my mind, I lost my mind. I lost my mind in every sense of the word. Every sense of the phrase, I lost my mind. Um, I didn't want to be at home. It was like a reminder because I didn't mention that we had already had a nursery upstairs. Like God told me many, many years ago, many moons ago, to make the second bedroom our nursery. And that's exactly what I did. And then we went to church like what, 2 or 3 weeks later, Ralph, if I'm not mistaken. 2 or 3 weeks later, our pastor was preaching and he just pointed to us and he was like, "Get that nursery ready." And me and Ralph looked at each other and we gave each other a high five. Shoot, we was already on it. The nursery was already completed. So when I talk about blind faith in receiving something in your spirit before you actually see it in the natural. We actually built and we created a nursery in our second bedroom and we had everything in there. Everything in there. Yep. Oh, thank you, Eric. Yes, yes, absolutely. Shamonda love the kids, but I fight kids too. I fight them because sometimes they just be too big for their pants. I fight them. But yeah, I do get sensitive about when if there's pregnant women on the screen. I gravitate to that. Um, and it's not just because I'm not coveting over that, but it's just we have to protect our wombs, y'all. We have to protect our wombs. And these babies are in, oh god, these babies. But so yeah, that was 2018. A lot of things have happened since then. We actually have our fertility journey on our YouTube channel, and thank you, thank you on my TikTok. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the bears. Thank you. I have no idea what that means, but thank you. I got to get into it. I don't know anything about TikTok, but we're going to get into it. I just, whatever. But thank you. I appreciate that. Um, but, we just, with, yeah, we were YouTubing at the time, and it was a lot of things that were going on that we were reacting to, and I don't know, it took me out. There was some things in The Walking Dead. I remember it. I don't know what episode it was, and I almost want to say it was the cheesemaker where Morgan met the cheesemaker and he told him that he was going to hold a child again. That took me out. That's The Walking Dead, y'all. Cheesemaker told Morgan that he would hold a baby again. And that tore me up because I felt like he was talking directly to me. Now, mind you, we've had two miscarriages. I've not held any of our children in my hand or in my arms, nor has Ralph. But the fact that could be, God can speak through anything. So it was like almost with The Walking Dead. He was actually speaking to me, you will hold a child again. So I thank God for that. And little subtle reminders that God is so present and that he never ever leaves my side. He never leaves your side either. Um, but I just want to get on here and I just wanted to talk about some real stuff. This is real for us. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit because why not? It's 2026. I had that first myomectomy in 2008. I had my second myomectomy July 23rd, 2026, just 2 weeks ago. And this time, drum roll, please. That's why I was never a drummer. They removed 32 fibroids from my uterus. 32. 3, 2. 32 fibroids from my uterus. And I would say what's funny, but it's not funny. But 2 years ago, it was April of 2024, I believe. Yeah, I was at work. I'll never forget this day. I started hurting in my abdomen, and I almost had a fit. I was wondering why was I in so much pain. I didn't have any pain medicine with me. We want to get into pain medicine too. Let me write that down because I do want to talk about that too and how pharma is just evil. Evil. And let me write that down so I won't forget pain medicine. But I had my coworker. I asked him. I said, "Do you have any ibuprofen? Do you have anything for pain?" He said, "I got ibuprofen." I said, "Okay, bet 600, 800." He said it was 600 or 200. Just the regular Motrin over the counter. I got four of them. Okay, I took that and I waited about an hour, but my pain got worse. So we ended up in the ER. And I'm used to the doctors telling me the same thing every time I go to the ER, every time I end up going and having an ultrasound done. This is the only thing that I can hear in the back of my mind because this is what, in the back of my mind, I hear my conscious call. But in the back of my mind, this is all that I hear. You have fibroids. Do you know you have fibroids? Yes, I do. Did you know you had cysts on your ovaries? No, that was new. Okay, that's new. But cysts, they come and go, they burst. I've gotten to the point where I know if a cyst has burst in my body, where the pain is so severe and it's like it just comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, that was a cyst, it burst, and I just want to make sure there's no free fluid in my abdomen, so I go and get a ultrasound done. This is amazing how you just know your body. Hey, Nikita. Hey, Shmoot. How are you? Um, so you just know your body, and we ended up in the ER, and when I tell you that was April of 2024, my pain was continued from that point. I had already had chronic pain from the endometriosis and the fibroids, um, but this pain became so intense that I was calling my doctor. You want to talk about crackhead? Hi, my name is Shamonda, and I'm an addict. But I wasn't an addict. It was just the fact that the pain was so severe every day. And I'm not even gonna lie, because the doctors now, they say if your pain level is at a 5, it's okay for you to take. This is my surgery, people. Okay, don't do this. But because of my surgery, they was like, we don't want you to wait until 10. When your pain level is at a 10, you can go ahead and take your oxy at 5. And I was like, yeah, but I live my life at a 5 every day, and I didn't have to take an oxy. Um, until it got to about a 10 because my pain tolerance is so high. My pain tolerance is so high. But anywho, but yeah, so I was actually calling the doctor's office every month, every other month, because not only was I hurting chronically every day, it was something going on. It was my back, it was my abdomen, my head. Um, but I found out some things. I had to do some research for myself because I have all these fibroids. Fibroids are created from estrogen, and I realized after a while that I am estrogen dominant. That's what they explained as far as my infertility. They said that I'm estrogen dominant. And when you're estrogen dominant, it's like your body is just producing so much estrogen and you don't have the other hormones to sort of balance it out. So when I would ovulate, because it's on hyper, it's up here, okay? Because my estrogen was so high, or is so high. Well, no, I'm gonna say was so high that it just created all of these fibroids. um, and if I'm, this is my transparency. Yes, yeah. There's a new 10. Yeah, and it does suck. Absolutely. Kidney stones for men is probably on the level of women having babies. That's what I've heard. So if you pass the kidney stone, and if you're a male, congratulations, you have a baby boy. uh, but um, yeah. But so I lived every day. I would go to work. I would function on a half a Percocet. No lie, on a half a Percocet. Sometimes when you would see us reacting, I would be on pain medicine. And half the time when we're reacting, I have this heating pad behind me, which I have right now. Um, this is real business. This is real business. This is my life. This is my body. This is how it grows, it goes down. But even in that, even in all of that, I'm still grateful. I'm grateful most importantly today that I am alive. Um, the surgery was a success. 32 fibroids removed. They even said that the endometriosis wasn't as bad as they had predicted. So I praise God for that. So they were able to do that. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they blocked the surgery, the operating room out for 5 hours. I think I was in there for four and a half. Ralph, correct me if I'm wrong, because you were the one that was waiting. um, in 2008, when I had the first myomectomy, she never told us how many fibroids she removed. But all in all, love you too, baby. All in all, even after that, I looked at some of the actually no, the VA. They looked at some of my records, and no, actually the VA, and then the doctors from U of M. They looked at some of my records, and they actually said that the doctor told in the report. Yeah, okay. So Ralph said Deuce's dad said 4.5 hours. So I was in surgery for 4.5 hours to get those 32 fibroids removed, you guys. Um, the 4.5 hours to 32 for 32 fibroids. That's a lot. That's a lot. But I've known women, I've heard of women that have had just one major fibroid and it was as big as a baby. You know what I mean? So I can't even imagine. So I had 32 fibroids and I seen the pictures of the fibroids. And I trust me when I say those little beasts, those little devils. And I used to tease everybody. They'd be like, okay, so how does your cramping feel? Because Ralph would ask me, how are you feeling? I was like, it feels like minions just with pitchforks just doing this to my uterus. With just sharp pains. And my key word for Ralph when it was time for us to go to the hospital, I would say it's burning. Did not even know that that is actually a symptom of endometriosis. I looked it up and I was wondering, why does my abdomen feel like it's on fire? And it is because of the endometriosis. But to know that I am 32 fibroids free today, listen, listen. I'm excited and ecstatic about that. I want to get into the pain medicine because I wrote it down. And I think I had already discussed it, but when you are on pain medicine, of course, you have to be very, very careful with that. And I do want to say that I never took anything where I had to drive. And if I was at the point, me and Ralph, we work in the very same organization right across the hall from one another. So if I ever had to take pain medicine, I even told the people in my office, okay, I'm taking pain medicine at this time so that y'all can dock it along with me. You know what I mean? Um, because if something happens, then you know to go grab my husband. Um, but if it ever got to the point where I had to take the pain medicine and it was getting too close to the time of me going home, then I would just ride with Ralph and I would leave my car there. So I do understand the reason why they are so skeptical about, big pharma and your doctor's offices are not wanting and willing to give you pain medicine, even though they see the MRI, they know what's going on with your body, and they like, dang, I know this hurt for her, but they refuse to give you anything that would help. And because my pain tolerance is so high, uh, I'm gonna tell you the truth. That ibuprofen and that Tylenol did nothing for me. Nothing at all. So I had to keep that in mind. But I'm also doing some things that are different, and I want to get into that too. Take a pause for the cause. My drink is getting warm. Shout out to Beth. I don't know if she's on here, but this is not an advertisement. I'm just letting y'all know that this is real. Y'all see these little patches? The Super Patch Company? Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Super Patch Company. This is the Freedom Super Patch. Deal with pain like never before. And this is the God honest truth. So, 2 weeks after post op now, 2 weeks post op, yeah, for my surgery, I have three of these patches on right now. I have two on my back and one right here in my abdomen. and I rotate them. You can leave them on for 24 hours. Let me show you the patch actually. You can leave them on for 24 hours. I didn't want to. I'm tired of taking oxy because it's bad for your stomach and it constipates you. Being real, you can't boo boo. But this is the patch. I don't know if y'all can see that. You see how small this patch is? Amazing. Amazing. I don't know what TikTok is doing. Hold on, you guys. Got to do a puzzle or something. That was weird. Why does it always pop up on your screen like that? I guess because you ain't doing nothing, huh? But anywho, put this on. You can put multiple on. I have 3 on right now, but it is amazing, amazing. So if you all suffer from pain, chronic pain, any kind of pain, okay, listen, and you don't want to take medicine because it's rough on your stomach, and it really is, I suggest that you look these up. This is a 30 pack, and I'm already down to a couple of them left, a few, because I rotate them every 24 hours, and they work amazingly, amazingly. Um, oh yeah, the lidocaine patches also. Um, and CBD oil. I know maybe some of you don't get down like that, but CBD oil for inflammation is amazing. So I just want to get on here and just share some things with you guys. I left our website out there, laughoffen.myshopify.com. If you want to purchase a book, you can. Nesting for One. It actually talks about our infertility struggles for up until what, 2013, maybe up until 2015 or 16 or something like that, because we actually published this in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. And so, oh no, it fell down. Hold on. Okay, that was rough. Um, um, but yeah, you can purchase the book. I'll autograph it for you. Um, but I also want to talk about other than just pain adjustments and all that kind of stuff, and adjusting your pain medicine. Excuse me, adjusting your pain medicine and all the things. I will say that a great support system is amazing. Um, just so you can have someone to talk to when you're going through what you're going through, so that you won't think that you're alone. Um, it's funny because I did not know that we had several people in our family that had fibroids, and I didn't know that because that was something I guess we just didn't talk about. But I wish that we had, because all the nights that I was crying and wondering, God, why me? Why? Nobody else in my family has fibroids. Nobody else has infertility issues. The devil is a lie. They did. They didn't say anything. So I'm saying this to say, learn about your family. Learn about your family history. If you even have cousins, first cousins, because it is imperative that you find out what it is that causes fibroids, and then try to stay away from whatever causes it. For me, I'm not too sure if you can take the estrogen out of my body because I'm estrogen dominant, but I do know since they've taken 32 fibroids out of my body, I'm gonna try to do everything that I can do, and then what I can't do, I'm gonna give it to God to make sure that I don't have 32 more fibroids growing in my body. Them aliens, them things was looking nasty. I wish I could show the picture, but I'm not. Yes. Turmeric black pepper capsules, yes. Inflammation, yes. So I actually make my own tea, and I do have someone, Alita, that she does. If y'all in the 313-248, whatever area code y'all want to be, 586. I have a tea lady. She's phenomenal. She makes her homemade ginger and turmeric teas, and when I tell you, yeah, it is delightful. But I do boil my own ginger, boil my own turmeric, and I do. Um, Actually, I was gonna do that just now, like just have some tea while I was just sitting here talking to you guys, but I didn't. But Ralph knows I love ginger. I have ginger capsules, the chewables. I chew on that all day. It's good for your stomach. It's good for inflammation. And the only thing that I know for sure is that I'm fighting my body, and I didn't want to fight my body. So I had to surrender to a whole lot of things. Sugar is one thing. I love sweets. I love Skittles, bite-sized candies. I love them, but they don't love me. So, when you have stuff like that and it causes inflammation in your body and it causes you pain, normally, I don't know why we entertain that, but it just like we're okay with the pain. We're okay and we just deal with it. That's not true and it's not necessary. So please don't do that ever again. Um, but yeah, I felt the need to get on here. I'm not too sure if you got anything out of this at all, but I felt like I needed to get on here because when I woke up from my surgery, God said, "Tell your story." So I'm doing that and I'm being obedient. Um, but yeah, if you want the book, you can just click on that. Laugh often. My Shopify.com. You can get the book there if you want to actually look or listen. Look or listen. Sorry. If you just want to listen to my Audible projects, you can. I'm so sleepy. You can listen to my Audible projects. They are available on Shopify. Just Google my name, Shamonda, Shamonda, Dunton, Dunton, and you will see many, many projects. There are two actually out there right now. One is called The Waiting Room, and that is specifically based on the waiting room itself. And all the things, all the thoughts, uh, all the thoughts. That's all I gotta say. All the thoughts of being in the waiting room and waiting for God's promise to manifest. And then there's one where it's called the Barefoot Confessions, and Barefoot Confessions is a little bit more raw, because this was during the time where I felt like I lost myself a little bit, and God was really trying to reel me in. He was really chasing after me at that point, um, because I was in a dark place. After that last miscarriage, I was in a really dark place, and so um, yeah, really dark place. Like it was weird. Like it was so weird. Like our marriage was not 100. It was a lot of things that was going on, and I don't know. I just felt like the enemy was winning. I felt like the enemy was winning as far as my marriage was concerned. I felt like the enemy was winning because we didn't have any children. But yet and still, we are still here. We're still here. We still believe in God because why not? He promised it, and He is not a man that will lie. He can't do it. It's not in Him. He can't lie. I read that to y'all earlier. He can't lie. It's not possible. It's not even in Him. He doesn't like liars. So why would He lie when He doesn't like liars? So His word never returns to Him void. That means it will accomplish everything that it is set out to do. So if His word said that you are healed in Jesus' name. If it says you are delivered in Jesus' name. You repeat those things back to Him that He says in His word. Okay? Just be an echo of God's word. And He'll honor that because it's faith behind that. Um, it's faith behind that. So I just, being remembered and not forgotten is a key phrase that I got today. Being remembered and not forgotten. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know if that's going to be a title or something, but y'all know I write plays, so ain't no telling what this is about. But being remembered and not forgotten, because if you know, thank you, Eric, hugging you too. Thank you. Um, and spread the word. Spread the word. Hi. God bless you too. Is it Morrow? Thank you for watching our Vikings reactions. Um, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm not certified in anything, but if you have any questions, I don't care how. This is the platform. This is the time. If you wanted to ask me anything that was really personal that you felt like that you were led to ask, go ahead and ask the question. I'll be willing to answer that. But I plan on not being on here too much longer. I've already been on here for an hour. I thought that's pretty good. I feel like I was rambling. I hope you guys got something out of it. Um, but yeah, I was gonna say I love God. What's wrong with you? But realness. How did I get out of the dark place? That's a good question, Deuce's dad. Um, I think that I started to. Um, yes, we are ready for football. And I'm so sorry that you're a Ravens fan. um, I'm gonna be honest. I think I was at the end. I was at the end of my rope. Um, where I felt like I couldn't do anything right. I felt like everything that I tried was wrong. I felt like I was out here creating Ishmaels and that God was not honoring that. Um, and because of that, I feel like I had to surrender. I had to surrender all that. I started laughing more. I think Deuce's dad can agree because at one point I think we were not laughing because we were both in such a dark place. I thought I was in a dark place, and I think I was just bringing you down as well. But I think we started laughing more. And I started to realize that I could not think about the things that I didn't have and stop grieving over the things that I didn't have and stop grieving over the things that God had promised that hadn't come to fruition. Why am I grieving the things that God has promised when I haven't received it? Why is it called? Why am I grieving for an expectation for something that I put an expectation on God? I had Him in a box, and then I was grieving that timeline because nothing happened during that timeline. So I'm grieving the time that I felt that was lost, and God said that I'm redeeming your time. So it felt like, what am I doing? I realized at that point that I didn't have to pretend anymore. Not too many people were asking us questions about babies. When were you having a baby? When were you having a baby? None of those questions were ever asked again after a certain period of our lives, like when we reach 40. People stopped asking. They stopped being concerned about it. There were times where we thought we were going to adopt, and we didn't. We didn't even look at the paperwork after 2020 when they said they weren't taking no applicants. I just stopped. Um, yeah, I just stopped after that. So yeah. Um, Looking for questions. I hope that answered your question, Deuce's dad. I think we just started to laugh more and realize what was right in front of us. Just like Hannah, um, in the Bible, when she realized that she was just grieving something that she didn't have, but then she realized that her husband was right there. Just be happy that he was there. So I was happy you was there. And so I had to jump your bones a little bit more, huh? So I was happy about that. That got me out of a dark place. So, yeah, yeah, that part. And I'm literally excited about 32 fibroids. Oh, let me get back to that. So I got 32 fibroids removed, and all the pain that I was feeling was always on my left side. And I, you look and it's on your right, but on my left side, I will always have pain, right? And so when they removed the 32 fibroids, she said your uterus is back to its normal size because it was actually, I don't know, this big with those 32 fibroids sitting around it. Your uterus is probably like, I don't know, it's not really big. That's why the baby expands your uterus, okay? And and on top of that, because of the weight of the fibroids, my uterus was literally leaning to my left side of my body, and it was on and leaning on my bladder. So if y'all ever went back to any of the lives that we've done and we were just sitting around, we may have had a cocktail or so, uh, two or three maybe, I don't know. But if y'all realize how many times I would get up to use the bathroom, it's ridiculous. And now I feel like I can go on road trips. Let's go. I don't have to stop every hour on the hour to use the restroom because that pressure on my bladder is not there. Which is funny because somebody said, oh, so God was preparing you for the bladder pressure for your pregnancy. Hey, now. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. I said, well, if that was it, then okay. Um, Wait, being remembered and not forgotten. That was Battlestar Galactica. Lonnie, don't tell me that. Literally, seriously, no, for real, for real. I was trying to record videos earlier today to talk about this what we're talking about now. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be looking up here, but I keep looking down at my laptop. So if I'm looking cross-eyed, I'm sorry. Um, but while I was that BSG for real? Cause listen, and Starbuck was my favorite character. Being remembered and not forgotten. I heard that today while I was talking, being remembered and not forgotten, because in the Bible, when all of the women who was dealing with their infertility issues when their womb was closed, it said God remembered them and then they conceived. So I was saying being remembered and not forgotten because God never leaves us nor forsakes us. So yeah, so we're never forgotten. So that's where I got that from. I did not know that was a quote from Starbucks. That is crazy, and it did. I cried something serious. Yes, I love Starbucks. That's crazy, Lonnie. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I literally wrote it down in my book, and I put asterisks all the way around it because I was like, I need to do something with that title, being remembered and not forgotten. I thought that was powerful. I may have to do a spoken word or something about it, but it was just, it's amazing, that title and the substance behind it. It's just, I don't know, it's amazing. Um, but yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to say. I think I put everything in a nutshell right here because we're an hour and 17 minutes in, and I got to get up and walk around. Sitting here, let me put some heat to my back right quick. Um, Someone said, hold on, I think somebody asked a question. It's not relating to what we're talking about, but your husband must be a really good guy. He is. Who are our top three favorite characters on the Vikings? Top three. I mean, Ragnar, Laquita, Floki. I don't know if Deuce's dad. Can you answer that? Deuce's dad is on here, y'all. This is Ralph. Um, yeah, I know Ragnar is. Well, we've gotten to the point where he's already passed away. Okay, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Vikings. But yeah. So we love Ragnar. Loved him, and nothing he could do was wrong except for when he was high and acting stupid. But yeah, thank you, Lonnie. I appreciate that. That is just something crazy right there. I did not know. I wrote it down in my book like I'm gonna do something with that. Um, I did have a question, but I did pose a question, and I think that was just something that I was just creating videos and stuff. But I put on here: Is there anything too hard for God in your life? Do you feel like it's anything too hard for Him to do? Like, have you asked Him to do X, Y, Z, and you feel like it's too hard for Him, or you have something in your mind that you feel like it is just too far gone for you to ask God to do for you? Like, why are you boxing Him in? Like, why? Um, we are still believing for children. I believe in for children, natural children. I'm believing my womb will be um, captivated, and my womb is kept, and my womb is ready, viable for children, and that it will grow when it's supposed to grow. And my babies, everything will be complete. There will be nothing lacking in them. There are certain things that you just have to pray that it's beyond your understanding. You got to pray some crazy bold prayers sometimes. I used to tell Ralph all the time, I'm waiting for a rich uncle to come and buy this house so we ain't got to worry about it and just go on so we can move somewhere. I need a rich uncle. You feel me? I need a rich uncle. Oh, Bjorn. So Ralph said Ragnar, Lagertha, and Bjorn. Bjorn too, yeah. But Floki, Floki, that laugh. Floki was something. So, Heidi. Oh no, you know what? We can get together. We can get together. We can do lunch if you want, and let's catch up if you want to. Give me some time because I'm still recovering from surgery. Um, Thank you, my love. I appreciate you. Um, because we're talking about organic things, things to help. You live in Florida. Well, then that's a good place for me to come and visit now, isn't it? Winter for us is around the corner, honey. I could come on to Florida. Exactly, exactly. Um, but yeah, as far as like organic stuff, just trying to be more aware, conscious about what I'm eating to keep me from creating these fibroids in my body. Because those pictures, I mean, there was fibroids inside of fibroids. Like they were burnt. Like, have you ever blew bubbles? I was about to do it. I can't get up. Have you ever blown bubbles and it's a cluster of bubbles and you're like, oh my God, that is amazing. But it's just like one big bubble, but then it's just like all these other bubbles on top of it. That's what some of those fibroids that they took out of me look like. But they counted 32. I counted more because they were clustered together. And it was disgusting. But I praise God, all of that is out of my body. And it's amazing that I'm even 32 fibroids. That's a lot, but I've known people to have more. But 30 any if you have one, if you have one, yes, Michelle, I will. Absolutely. Look, Heidi, if I go to Florida, I gotta stop by North Carolina first. So yes, I got several stops to make. So yes, that will happen. Um, but let me see what else I talk. Well, you know what? First, I just want to thank you guys for hopping on with me. I appreciate it because it wasn't just. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. We're not religious. We just have a relationship with Christ. Um, Sometimes when you take that word religion, people just they just do too much with it. You know what I'm saying? It's a relationship thing. It's a heart thing. So it's okay. I appreciate that. I appreciate that because we don't push anything on nobody. God gave us free will, so by all means, do whatever you please. But just know that I will encourage you the right way, and not the wrong way. I've done enough of encouraging people the wrong way back in my past, and I had to um, ask for crop failure on their behalf because I might have planted some things in them that I hope never manifested. Um, Anywho, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys for jumping on and hanging in there with me for this conversation and just talk about my body and its function. But my body and its function. Infertility is a really um, I want to say vague. People just don't really want to talk about it as much. However, they are getting a little bit more freer in their speech when it comes to infertility. So I thank God for that. We do have Moms in the Making, that is a group for women who are believing God for their children. And so, just find a support group, find your support, find someone that will laugh with you. Hey, Robin. It's okay. Um, but find your support group. Find people who will make you laugh because laughing, my body and dysfunction me after my morning coffee. I know that's right. Um, yeah, because I usually do double shot espresso, so listen, my body's function. Praise God for your body's function. Um, but it's okay. It's okay that you just got in here. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Um, but yeah, I felt the need to talk about it. So you guys, I'm so glad that you just hopped on with me. And laughter is my superpower. Yes. Thank you for chiming me back on. You should have said squirrel. So find your support system. Make sure that you laugh with them as much as possible. I know your circle may be small, but it is equipped with everything that you need if you have a small circle. Don't look for approval. Don't look for validation. Don't look for anything out of anyone else if you haven't went to God first. seek him first. Um, Lastly, is just enjoy life. We did a lot of things, looking at a calendar, and Ralph would be like, okay, can we go here? Can we go here? He would be talking about 4 or 5 months from now or a year from now. And I would always say, no, because I could be pregnant. And if I am pregnant now, then that means that, no, 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 I would have had the baby by then and da 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 da. I missed so much of my life calculating the things that were not happening. I missed a lot of my life because of that. And because God said He was going to redeem my time, I'm looking forward to whatever it else that He has for me right now. You guys, I'm not young. Yes, it will be. Robin, you can find it on YouTube and you can replay it as many times as you need to. I appreciate you, boo. Um, I'm looking forward to what the future holds for us. And I'm ecstatic. Um I cannot wait for us to be married to film with baby. I am young, thank you. I am young, thank you. Thank you. I can't wait for it to be married to film and baby. Because I think the other day, I don't know if I told Ralph this at all, but we were sitting there and we were reacting, and I pretended like the pillow. I had my legs up, when I had my knees up, Ralph, and I was pretending that the baby. Oh yeah, I had the onesie. Poop is coming, and I had the onesie on my lap, and I was pretending as if it was a baby, and they wouldn't be. The camera wouldn't be able to see the baby. I would just be holding the baby and reacting, and I was like, oh my god, it is doable. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that to happen. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much for joining into this live. It's not even movie related, but I appreciate those that came by and stopped by and stayed and supported. I appreciate it. Because sometimes I do feel like I'm long winded, but I felt like that this was an important subject to talk about. Not just the infertility portion, but more or less where your faith lies, the things that you speak um, are powerful. So if you say that your womb is captivating and you can conceive, that's what you need to be saying and pouring it into your womb. If you say to your children, yes, you will be able to make an honor roll this year because school is getting ready to start, speak those things that be not as though they were. You speak those things, positivity. Do that, I know people say affirmations and all that kind of stuff. I believe in Bible verses. So it's the same thing, but you say those things and you declare it over your children, right? You declare it over your life as well. So thank you so much. I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. And I think that I'm going to be able to end this session correctly. If not, Ralph will be able to do something for me and help me on this. Because I feel so awkward. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Thank you, baby. All right, so thank you so much for joining my live. I appreciate you guys. The next time it comes out and it says Shamonda has something to say, it will be more or less on something else. But whatever the Lord leads me to say. But this was one of those things where I had to. Top right in left. Thank you. I was looking at it like, okay, is that it? My glasses are really dirty. I think the next time we go live, we're going to be talking about from Vikings because we'll be finishing up Vikings soon. We're in the last season, I believe. Um, from will have their final season next year, April, May time frame. We're not going to talk about Dead City. Why? Because why? Um, what for? We got X-Men 97 that is on our Patreon right now. We drop those on Saturday mornings, just like Saturday morning cartoons. So get with it. Um, Vikings from X-Men 97. What am I missing? What am I missing? Oh, besides Dead City, but that's it. Okay, so Father God, House of the Dragon. I'm so sorry. House of the Dragon. How did I forget that? Woohoo! Sorry about that. Yes, we have House of the Dragon reactions too. So you guys have all these things that you can go and binge because you get to see our beautiful faces. Um, we love you. We love you. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. I'm just going to go ahead and get off of here because it's an hour and 29 minutes and 37, 38, 39, and 40. Michelle, I love you. Um, Celeste, I love you. Miss Gina, I love you. Lonnie, I love you. Eric, I love you. All the people who have been on here. Robin, I love you. Heidi, I love you. Let me see who else was on here. Mario, I love you. God bless you. Trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. Lonnie, Lonnie, love you. Fonda, Haley, love you. Karen, love you. Tyler, love you. Just want to make sure that I get everybody. Thank you, Miss Gina. If I didn't say thank you about the hair, love you, Keith. If I didn't say thank you about the hair, thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to Shauna, my color specialist, in my loctician row. Love you. I love you guys. I will talk with you soon. Um, yeah, this was amazing. This is weird, but yeah, I did it. I did it. I feel accomplished. All right, I'll talk with y'all soon. I'm about to take a nap. Have a good night. Bye.